Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Nerds podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Nerds podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Nerds podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Nerds podcast. Sit back to the back of the back of the grab a six pack, sit back to the back of the back of the grab a six pack, sit back to the back of the back of the grab a six pack, sit back to the back of the back of the grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Nerds podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Nerds podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 229 of the Drunk Nerds podcast. I'm your host, as always, Tyler, and joining me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
I'm alright, Tyler. Gotta tell you, though, busy week. Got a lot of little things done. Got some yard work done today, so I'm feeling pretty good.
Nice.
And other than that, though, I've actually played some different games. So that's been pretty much of a good ride right then and there. How have you been, Tyler?
Oh, man, I'm doing alright, clanging and banging. Same as always. No, I'm doing okay. It was like our last week at work before it gets crazy, so enjoyed that kind of a slow period. Enjoying my Saturdays while they're free. But other than that, doing okay. Same as you, playing a lot of games, watching a lot of football. NFL started last week, so that's always cool. Yeah. Justin's not gonna be here this week. She mentioned off the top. I actually remembered for once. He's not here this week, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately. Fortunately, he had a daughter around this time last year, and they're celebrating her 1-year birthday today. So that's why he's not here this week. So apparently that's a big deal. I don't know. I mean, I did take my dog to PetSmart and spent $100 on him on his second birthday. So what do I know? Anyways, life goals, whatever. I don't fucking know what I'm talking about anymore. We just got done with the fantasy football draft. That was pretty fun. I'm in my
right?
6th fantasy football league this year.
By comparison, I'm only in one because I started it.
Oh yeah. See, you're a lot smarter than I am. Then I'm also in a thing at work on top of the 2 leagues I'm in at work, where we put $5 in the pot and pick games every week. I finished 3rd last week. So I didn't get any money, which sucks. So yeah, it's $150 in every week. You get first, you get $140. Second, you get 10. Anything after that, you get nothing. But whatever. It's all good. It's fun. It's $5. I'm out. Ooh, shit. I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling now anymore. I don't know. Anyways, this is a video game show where we're talking about video games. So why don't we go and jump on into that? Actually, I want to talk right up the top here. It's I'm still drinking Oktoberfest. It's not even October yet. I've already been drinking Oktoberfest for a month. This is amazing. This is the greatest time of the year right here. Oh man, I'm just really happy about Oktoberfest. I've already had a few, if you haven't noticed. But like I said, video game podcast. So we're gonna talk about video games. We're gonna jump into the news first. You okay with that?
I'm good with it.
All right, cool. Because there is a lot of news. I'm gonna say this again. I feel like I say this almost every week. It's a Nintendo heavy week.
It always seems like a Nintendo heavy week, right?
Yeah, but it's become a Nintendo heavy year. They had the whole announcement thing in January, then they released a console in March. That's kind of a thing in for video games.
Yeah.
Releasing, it seems like a game every month. Then talk about new games they're making every month. They killed it with E3, the SNES Classic debacle. Not all good, And now we got some stuff this week. They had a direct this week, and then a couple other news about the SNES and NES Classic, which we'll get to a little later. Something I want to jump to first. Something I always look forward to, or not really look forward to, but I always like to read about when it happens. It's the MPD reports.
Yep.
They come out, obviously every month. They talk about sales of games, and they give you a top 10 list, tell you how the consoles did, some news and notes, and I always find them interesting. I don't know. We rarely talk about it on the show, but I figured maybe try doing that here and there. Try to do it every month maybe, but if we're busy, other things going on, whatever. But kind of an interesting month, I thought. So the Switch outsold the PS4 and Xbox One. This is actually the highest selling month for the Switch
That's
since
cool.
it released. Yeah, which maybe not too surprising with it seems like I'm seeing on Twitter constantly about how like Switch is available at Walmart or available at Target, or you're seeing things about Toys R Us is going to get Switches on Tuesday, things like that. And then there's I always see bundles out there and stuff too. You get like overpriced bundles, but they're out there.
Yeah, I can attest. I can attest to this too. You know, I went to my Walmart today, and a week ago they actually got in a few more Switches, and there's like 5 in all, like
Wow.
2 Splatoon 2 bundles and like 3 of the regular ones. Came back a week later and stuff like that. They're still there. So,
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? So
That's crazy.
It's actually managed to to be a longevity type of thing. And this is like, what, the second week of September and stuff?
Yeah.
I could not hardly find a Switch in that store since launch. And it took it like, what, how many months is that? April?
6?
May, June. Yeah, quintessentially like nearly 6 months.
Yeah. I don't know if I don't think I said it on the show last week, but when I went and picked up Destiny 2 last Friday, I actually saw a single Switch at GameStop. And that was the first time I've ever seen one in the wild before.
Wow.
And I'm like, I was like, is that a display box or is that a real Switch? He's like, no, it's a real Switch. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. He's like, do you want it? I'm like, no, I got one at launch, but I've just never seen one before. And he's like, well, you don't want it? I'm like, well, no.
No, I already have one.
He's like, well, you could sell on eBay and make money. I'm like, no,
No.
that's okay. You know, fuck that. I was thinking about buying it and then like putting it on like Talkie Ship or something like that and seeing like, hey, somebody want it, just give me the money for the shipping and the thing. I won't make a dime off of it. Here you go. I was thinking about doing something like that, but I'm like, it's okay. Deal with the hassle and all that and rack up more credit card bills. But yeah, that's kind of cool. So that's kind of a thing going on right now. Not. I mean, it's kind of one of those things. It's like a no-win situation for Nintendo, where it's like, if they weren't winning, they've won. I think they've led 4 of the 6 months now. They've been out. Or I guess 6 months. It's been out on NPDs, and it's one of those situations where if it wasn't, it's like, oh shit, that ain't good. And if it is, like, well, it should. It's a new console, so it's kind of a no-win where it should be. Maybe the first little bit there it didn't because it was hard to find, but that's good news. That really is good news. The fact that it's still selling really well. I'm curious to see where it's going to be at when we get the quarter 2 reports in I think the first week of October. So we should be getting that then and find out where they are sales wise. But they're saying August is the highest selling, so that should be pretty good. Some other interesting stuff. So they give you the top 10 highest selling games every month. So I'm going to run through them real quick. Number 10 at Overwatch. But actually, with Overwatch, it's a number 10. But they don't have digital sales numbers. So the rest, 1 through 9, include digital and physical sales. Overwatch is number 10 with just physical sales. So that's impressive. Over a year later, came out in, I think, May of last year. So
yeah, it did.
Impressive. 9, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. Still out there. Still selling really well for being a PS4 only game right now.
Yeah.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered to 8. Makes sense. Call of Duty. Mario Kart 8 for the Switch. Number 7. Number 6, Rainbow Six Siege. Number 5, Zelda Breath of the Wild. 4, Splatoon 2. 3, Uncharted The Lost Legacy. Number 2, with a really big surprise to me, Grand Theft Auto 5. And number 1, Madden 18, which it's Madden. It makes sense. It's one of the highest selling games of the year.
Well, here's something that's really surprising to me is like the friggin' Ghost Recon Wildlands is not even anywhere near the top 10.
Yeah, actually, it's one of the first months that hasn't been in the top 10.
That's crazy to me.
It was in top 10 sales wise for the Xbox and the PS4, but I'm assuming Switch games knocked it out of that because I think there was 1, 2, 3 Switch games in the top 10.
Yeah.
So makes sense, but I think it is the highest selling game of the year so far for 2017 games.
That does not surprise me one bit.
No, and 6th overall for sales in the last 12 months. So not too surprising. I mean, surprising it's not in the top 10, but when you think about the Switch games, with the Switch being the highest selling console so far in the last 6 months, makes sense. Especially when Splatoon 2, Breath of the Wild, and Mario Kart 8 have all come out. Well, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe have all come out since Wildlands. So, this was interesting. I mean, some other interesting things to me about this is they talk about the sales figures for Uncharted Lost Legacy. So someone talked about a few weeks ago is that the Lost Legacy was actually, it came with a season pass. Well, you got it for free if you bought the season pass for Uncharted 4. A lot of people didn't know that. They didn't advertise it. Really, they actually pulled the season pass once they announced Lost Legacy. So that's why a lot of people obviously don't know about it. So that it's at number 3 this month, but that does not include the people that got it with the season pass. That's just actual standalone purchases of the game. So not saying we're maybe jumped Madden. I would definitely want to jump Madden 18 or probably not GTA 5, but still impressive. I'm happy to hear that doing well. Maybe we'll get some more spin-offs of things like this, more Uncharted spin-off games, maybe some Last of Us spin-off games. But really impressive. But the thing I think, like I said, is the most shocking is that GTA 5 has been out for four years tomorrow as of this recording. So when this show should come out Sunday, the 17th, that would be the 4-year anniversary of GTA 5 coming out.
Yeah.
And that game is number 2 for games sold in August of this year. It's number 4 overall in the last 12 months. Number 3 in sales this year. Only behind Wildlands number 1, Breath of the Wild number 2. Breath of the Wild being on Wii U and, which I'm sure wasn't much, and Switch. But some really cool thing they come out and the NPD come out and say is out of the 41 of the 48 months it's been available on the NPDs, it's been on the NPDs in the top 10 41 of the 48 months since it's released. That's 16 times more since NPD started doing tracking on this than any other game. And it's officially the all-time best-selling game by both revenue and units sold across all the platforms and the consoles and the portable and digital packaging, everything. So it's not only the highest grossing game of all time, it's actually now being considered the highest selling game of all time. And there's, that's extremely impressive. That game is still making, on top of sales alone, I mean, it came out, I think, in the last Rockstar, or 2K came out in the last fiscal report and talked about how it still was making tens of millions of dollars and not just revenue but profits every month because of the online. So the online's still killing it. So I mean, this is all stuff I just always found interesting. But I think it's just kind of interesting to see all these games come out here, and you would think there's people have been doing like the craziest first 8 months of the year of a year in gaming maybe ever. And GTA 5 is still number 2 this month. You look at Rainbow Six Siege came out in I think November 2015, and it's number 6 this month or last month. Call of Duty Modern Warfare came out. Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered came out last year with Infinite Warfare, but did get re-released back in June. So that kind of makes sense. But you look at a game like Overwatch at number 10, still hanging on there. And that came out last May, like I said. So you got...
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's like, I think part of it has to be partially due because I think this is one of the first years where this game's been out where it's gotten legitimate price drop in terms of, like, say, $40 here, $30 there consistently. And that's probably why MPD stuff is really high upon Grand Theft Auto 5 at the moment. Yeah. It would make sense, but... At the same time, though, I got to admit, it is really impressive that a game that has released basically right before this new current systems and stuff launched even is still not only making millions of dollars, but is also just flourishing in the span of like whatever big content and stuff that's coming out. I mean, you're just listening to examples of games that have come out since then, just this year with Breath of the Wild, with Wildlands, with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and stuff. It's all these fantastic games and stuff, but as we've seen time and time again, whenever Rockstar releases a good GTA game, just any major GTA game, that game lasts for years. Literally, They sell, historically, each entry inside GTA since 3 have stayed inside of the top 10 for MPT things, sometimes years at a time. Yeah.
And it's just crazy, though, in a time where we're seeing more games than ever, that one's still... hanging out there. Like I said, there's 3 games from a year, one game 2 games from last year, 1 game from 2015, and I actually know GTA 5 is from 4 years ago. And then you got 2 remasters in Call of Duty and Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot being a PS4 exclusive right now. So extremely impressive. I'm curious to see. We got a lot of stuff coming out this month. Into September, I imagine Destiny 2 is gonna be a runaway success. It actually did hit. I think they had like last weekend. They had like at one point, like 1.4 million concurrent users going across Xbox and PS4. So that's really impressive. That means at one time that many people were playing the game. So extremely impressive. I think it actually it doesn't beat PUBG's new record. I think they're like 1.3. They just broke a couple weeks ago concurrent users, but that's only on Steam. That's a small $30 game. So that's very impressive for that game. But anyways, I want to move on. I want to touch on something really quick. Kind of a cool thing for a game that came out at the beginning of the year. I think it got rave reviews. Everybody loved it. That I've heard talk about it. But I think it's kind of a lot of people have forgotten that game. 1 came out this year, and 2 that maybe this game actually existed because it's been, like I said, it's been a crazy year for gaming. But Resident Evil 7 is going to get a not really a re-release, but it's getting basically a Game of the Year edition almost coming. Yeah, no, it's not really. It's not being called a Game of the Year edition. They released. It's called a Gold edition. They did the same thing with Resident Evil 5 years ago when they released it like a year or 2 later. They came with all the DLC. They're doing this. Yeah, so they're doing the same thing. It makes sense because January, like I said, a lot of shit's coming out since then. Kind of get it back in your mind that the thing existed, and also right before the holidays, get a nice little bump. But Resident Evil 7 Gold Edition, it's coming out on December 12th. It's gonna be $50. I think the season pass is $25 or $30. And I think the game is like $40 still singular, so not really a bad deal, especially in December. But anyways, it's on the same day actually. 2 DLCs are going to drop for Resident Evil 7. One is called End of Zoe. It takes place after the main game and deals with Zoe. She's one of the characters from the game. I haven't finished it, but she's one of the characters in the game that's going to finish off her story. And that's 15. It's going to come with the Gold Edition. Or if you can buy it for $15 separately, or it's going to be free if you own the season pass. So Justin, I think you have the season pass. So there you go. There's some more stuff coming out, and also there's now DLC dropping for it on that day called Not a Hero. It was supposed to come out this past July, but it got delayed because they said it wasn't meeting standards of how the praise of that game got when it released. And this one actually you play as Chris Redfield from the regular series. I don't know. So it's gonna be free. It's come out on December 12th as well, and so that's kind of cool. It's kind of gonna be December 12th is gonna be a big day for Resident Evil 7, and I hope this does well because I was actually doing some reading about this. It's actually currently Resident Evil 7 is 10th in as far as sales for games that released in 2017, but it did not meet expectations. I guess Capcom was wanting 4 million units sold. It's currently sitting a little over 3.5, so close. But it's made its money back. It's a profitable game, but it's not reaching the expectations that Capcom wanted. It actually is. I thought it was kind of interesting. It is actually the first week Resident Evil 7 came out was the 3rd highest selling Resident Evil game of all time, followed only by Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6. So unfortunately. It's one of those cases they talk about like when a game series is going down. It's never the game that's bad that sells poorly. It's the game after. Like look at like Assassin's Creed, where Unity was a piece of trash. Yeah. It was broken and it just wasn't a good game in general. And that game sold really well. But then the one after, I can't remember what it's called. I forgot the name of it. Syndicate. Thank you. You always remind me. I don't know why. I'm the one that beat the damn game and you didn't play it, but you always remind me of the name. I don't understand that. But anyways, that game, Syndicate, sold very poorly well for any other game, but poorly for Assassin's Creed and for Ubisoft. And that was a far superior game as far as the Assassin's Creed games go, especially over Unity. So I think it's one of those cases where maybe it was a complete change in direction. People didn't know for sure if this game was going to be good, and also paying for the sins that is Resident Evil 6. And for some people, Resident Evil 5. I know a lot of people, like Justin, didn't really care for it, and he loves Resident Evil games. But you got people like Jake that played that game like 20 fucking times when it came out on the Xbox One and PS4 last year. He actually bought 2 copies of it. And surprisingly, actually, Resident Evil 6 and 5 have sold over 1 million copies on the new consoles. So that's fucking crazy.
That is.
I thought I want to shame those people, but then I realized I bought Resident Evil 6 when it was on sale on PS4, so I'm kind of a bad person for that. I deserve.
Of course,
to be punished for
partially. Of course, that's partially my fault too.
That's true, because you told me you play with me, so I got excited and I pre'd a little bit and bought it early, and then we just never played it. So that's fine. I don't know if I want to suffer for it. Maybe for my sins, I should play it for Extra Life. I don't know.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe we could just play Odyssey instead and be happier.
Yeah, that would be an awesome thing.
Or
Because that does totally come out before Extra Life, doesn't it?
Yes, we have
The week before.
Yeah, I think we should just make Extra Life like 72 hours this year. And I still don't know if there'd be enough time for all the games to come out right before that.
I don't think so.
Probably not. Probably not. I could probably get halfway through one of those games in that time. But anyways, I just kind of want to mention that. I hope. Did you play Resident Evil 7? I can't remember.
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. So are you just like, are you not interested in the game, or are you like just other things came up?
Other things came up pretty much. That's just how it is. Like whenever like big games come out. Like for say, if I really wanted to play like a specific game, I'll buy it though. But it's just the fact there are plenty of games I do want to play, just don't have enough time to do it.
Understandable. Yeah, know where you're at right now. But next up, this is something we talked about I want to say a few episodes ago. But there was rumors, there was like ratings coming out for not like review ratings, but like ratings as far as like E for everyone, teen, whatever, ESRB for Okami in like weird, small countries and other countries. So it actually has been officially announced that Okami is coming to PS4, PC, and Xbox One. No Switch, unfortunately. But it's coming out digitally and physically. It's going to be $20. It's going to be out December 12th. December 12th is looking like a big day now for Resident Evil 7 and that. And also, it's going to work in 4K on the PS4 Pro, on PC, and Xbox One X.
Oh.
So kind of a cool thing we talked about a little bit. Like I said, when the rumors first were coming out about a month ago. This is one of those rare games from the PS2 generation, and even to a certain extent PS3 generation, where it's one of those games I wanted to play, I just never got around.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically what it is, pretty much. I mean, it was a cult classic on the PS2. It got re-released on the PS3.
And the Wii.
And the Wii as well. I got both versions, to be perfectly honest with you.
Oh, wow.
And I still haven't finished the game, so this is going to be interesting. I may just pick it up just just because it's not only coming to current consoles, and it's going to be in full HD, as it is, and, who knows? Well, just who knows? Maybe I'll have time for it.
Yeah, this December is kind of a slow month for releases, so if we're not catch up on our backlog, it might be fun to jump into that. It's only $20. Like I said, it's one of those games for a decade. It's one of those games like, damn, I should have played that game. So I'm happy I can, that I got a chance to jump into it now. So yeah, that's cool. But next up, now we're going to get into the Nintendo part of the show. So the rest of the show, news-wise, is going to be Nintendo related, and even actually when we get to the gaming part, it's going to be Nintendo related. So prepared for that. It's going to be a little bit of gaming stuff or Nintendo stuff. So first off, Nintendo came out. Reggie came out like last week or a few days ago before this, and said that don't buy the SNES Mini or Classic orders on eBay. Don't pay scalpers, and then. Like, okay, that's weird. Well, we can't really give them a choice, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So it came out. Nintendo did announce that they're going to actually stock the SNES Classic and make the thing well into 2018. Originally, it was just going to be until the end of the year, until about the holiday season, if it made it that long. So that's a cool thing. And on top of that, they announced they're going to bring back the NES Classic sometime next summer in 2018. No other talk or date. But that Justin mentioned a couple weeks ago that the NES Classic sold about 1.5 million. Doesn't feel like it. I swear that Justin and Troy have half of the world's population of those things. If you go by the internet. But yeah, so that's cool. I'm glad it's it's one of those things where you gotta prove it to me, Nintendo. Like you gotta prove like you have set a standard, and it's not a very good standard about these kind of things, about stocks and everything, stocking things people want. But this is good news. This is positive news, and I hope not only like, hey, we're gonna make a handful more. Like this is gonna be a thing where like this thing is gonna be somewhat easy to buy. We're not to spend 24/7 on Twitter looking at Wario64's Twitter account, waiting for the thing to pop up to buy, or having 16 different email me things set up on Target and Amazon and shit like that to let me know when it's in stock. And same with NES Classic. They fumbled the message on that quite a bit. So I'm glad that they're bringing that back. Hopefully it's the same thing with that. You want both. You unfortunately were not able to get either one of them. So this is good news I think for you especially, and for hopefully everybody involved.
Yes, indeed. I mean, it's pretty positive that they went through and addressed some of the issues here. Like, coming on and just saying that, okay, hey, don't buy any of the stuff from eBay and stuff like that. Yeah, that's a step in the right direction right there. But at the same point and stuff with the Super Nintendo Classic Edition, it's like, I really don't believe them per se. It's more of a wait-and-see approach for what happens. Because any company just go on and just can say, it's like, oh yeah, there'll be plenty of product at launch, and all of a sudden it's like only like maybe 2 copies at a specific store, or 3. Kind of like the same like the NES stuff last year. I think it's kind of comical that some of the NES Classic stuff is going to be coming out like during the summer of 2018, only because this is pretty much like a scrambling mode for Nintendo. It's like, oh, we really dropped the ball with this goddamn thing. We'll be releasing more of those in 2018, and then like it's sort of like it going back on what they did originally when they announced the Super Nintendo Classic, where it was like, okay, we're just going to produce some by the end of the year, and then enough people online and even like some of their major customers that have bought their games just raising up like things like, you're not pulling the same shit twice on us and stuff right here. So it's like, in a way, I am happy that they are at least addressing the issues, claiming to release more copies of the Super Nintendo Classic well into 2018 for both the Super Nintendo and NES Classics. At the same time and stuff, it's like, I want to believe them, but I know those things are going to be hot sellers, and I know there's going to be times during the month and stuff where people are just going to go absolutely ape shit and just buy up, stockpile them anyway, because that's what scalpers do. So, you know what? Overall, it is a positive thing. They've addressed their changes, and you know what? I cannot say anything else besides I hope it's true.
Yeah. Like I said, they've set a standard. It's not a good standard. Nintendo, I mean, they've been playing this game for a long time about keeping stock low, keep the conversation going. And I feel like this time, like, it's really backfired on them more now than maybe ever. Where, hey, people are still talking about the NES Classic and the SNES Classic, but it's not good talk. People are pissed. And maybe it finally got through to them. Or maybe this was the plan all along, is like, hey, we're going to be crazy. We're going to do the SNES Classic now. But we're going to, when people are going to go crazy over the pre-orders and crazy about this and talking about this, and then we're going to come in at the last second and, like, we're going to, like, hey, like, we're going to do a lot more. Like, maybe that was the plan all along. I don't know. Or maybe it was just kind of like they finally understood the message, got through their heads that, like, people are not happy right now about this. And, like, hey, we can make a lot more money off this if we stock this thing appropriately. So yeah, it's one of those things where you got to prove it to me, Nintendo, that they're really serious about this, and it's not just more bullshit. But moving on to the last topic and last Nintendo topic, they had a direct. I think was it Wednesday, and
Yes.
A lot of stuff came out. This is a surprising. I think they have maybe a half dozen or more, maybe 8 or so a year, and usually a few of them are just kind of like little tiny news or game specific ones where not a lot of stuff comes out of it. This one was a pretty big one. It mostly talked about stuff coming out the rest of the year, but they dabbled a little bit in 2018. So I'm going to run through. I wrote down everything that they talked about, and I do that with most of them, but like usually ends up we only talk about like the handful of big stuff, and we just kind of ignore the rest of it. So I kind of just narrowed down a little bit to the bigger things, and there's still quite a bit of big stuff still, I think, for this. But I'm just gonna run through everything real quick, and we'll discuss kind of the big things that stuck out to us. But start off with a trailer for Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon. Got some new details on the game about being in new areas, how it's going to be different the way you get your Pokemon in the beginning. And also they announced some new Pokemon that are going to be exclusive for each version. Then we got, they announced they're re-releasing Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. I think it was a Game Boy Advance game.
Yes, it was.
Okay, wow, I remember that one. Yay! For 3DS, and it's coming out October 6th, so that's coming out in just a few weeks. So,
wow.
I mean, the thing was never even announced, and now it's going to be out in a few weeks. Next up, Nintendo decided to copy off the fame of PUBG and make Kirby Battle Royale. You're going to drop 100 Kirbys onto an island, and the last one survives wins. No, but that'd be amazing if they did that.
You almost got me there, like, what?
That'd be so awesome. I kind of want someone to mod PUBG now. I'd play that game if they modded it and make just like Kirby or like a Smash Bros.
Instead of having guns, it's like Kirby abilities. Just
yeah,
it's a continual endless suck.
Yeah, that'd be great. Oh man, that's my dream life. A continuous endless suck. That is my life. Continuously endless suck. Some people to win, some people to lose. But anyways, no, it's really god damn, that game sounds amazing. But like you defeat your enemies by like sucking them up and like taking their abilities, and you just stack the abilities. Oh fuck yeah, let's make that game. Oh god damn it, I'm making you money, Nintendo, again. Take my ideas, please. Kirby Battle Royale is Royals, actually Battle Royals. Not related to the great song by Lord, just Royals. But it's out January 19th. I'm rambling now. Out January 19th. It's going to be a 4-player mini game, kind of like mini games, things like that. I remember there's a bunch of them in there. I'm not sure if they're like short ones, like a Mario Party type or what. But then there's also going to be a story mode involved as well. So it looks pretty cool. That's the Switch one, isn't it?
The Battle Royale one? I think it's the 3DS one, honestly.
Is that the 3DS one? There's a Switch one and a 3DS one. I can't remember which one now it is.
I think the Battle Royale one is on the 3DS, now I think about it.
Yeah, it's on the 3DS. The other one was for Switch. I'm sorry. I forgot to write down what console it came for, so I got confused. But that is the 3DS version. And that comes, like I said, January 19th for the 3DS. Moving on. Holy crap. There's a new Professor Layton game. It's called Layton's Mystery Journey. That's like there's going to be like 30 of those fuckers. It's coming out October 6th. Point, yes. Yeah, feels like it. October 6th as well as Super Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. So busy day for the 3DS for that. And this one, I think they said you play as Professor Layton's daughter?
Yes.
Or niece? The daughter. Okay, cool. I'm not sure what happened. I fell out of the Layton games as number 2. I like the games, but by the time I jumped into them, there's already 4 games deep. And I was like, I can't keep up. I'm not sure what's going on in the story for that wise and his little helper. But now he plays his daughter. So that's a thing. Next up, I was shocked this wasn't a thing already, but Minecraft is coming to the 3DS, but only the new 3DS. So if you have the original 3DS or the original 2DS, you can't play it on there. And it's actually out now. It came out right after the Direct. But yeah, I thought I could have sworn the thing was already out there. Next up, Top 100 or Mario Party Top 100, I think is what it's called. It's just a compilation of the 100 greatest, 100 best Mario Party games. Coming out to the 3DS November 10th. I don't think it has any of the boards or anything, or any of the actual Mario Party like board game parts, but I think it's just the mini games. Next up, there is a new Ace Attorney game called Apollo Justice. So that's the thing. There was no other details
Apollo
for
Justice is sort of looked like some sort of like a remake from the original Apollo Justice. Personally, that's what it looked like, but I'm not sure.
I don't know what Apollo Justice is.
It's a part of the Ace Attorney games with Phoenix Wright and stuff.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of a spin-off then. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Next up, then we started getting, that was like all, pretty much, I think the first half was 3DS, and then the rest was the Switch stuff. Next up, we had Xenoblade Chronicles 2. We got a new trailer for that one with a lot of detail. I think they spent more on this game than maybe any other game.
Yeah, no shit. Easily they spent a lot of time covering this. The intricacies of the battle combat, all this other shit. It's like they want people to know about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got lost about midway through this. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. But the game was cool as shit. But it's coming out. They got a trailer for that. Like I said, a lot of shit ton of details going really inside baseball and some of this stuff. That game finally got a release date of December 1st.
Dude, a December release, a new game releasing in December. It's just so weird to me.
Yeah, I think the first one for the Wii U came out in like a mid-December type of release too.
Yeah, it did.
Maybe,
I think.
Yeah, so maybe. Yeah, so maybe that's probably we're getting a sequel so quickly. I really thought this game was going to get delayed into 2018. So it's barely making it in there, but it's going to be in the 2017 game. Next up, they announced there's going to be 2 new levels for Splatoon 2. One is Kelp Dome. It's one of I think my personal favorites from the first game. And I guess a lot of people's too. So it's getting re-released for Splatoon 2. I believe that's out now. And then they also released a new level called Snapper Canal. And that is also out now. Came out on Friday. I think they announced some. I think there's some new weapons and everything's coming out too. And then finally, or not finally, I don't know why I said finally. Also, Snipperclip Plus. It is kind of like an add-on to Snipperclip that came out as a launch title for the Switch. I think it almost feels like a forgotten game. But it's kind of 30 new stages. You can play the old stages, but now you're going to be put in like random body shapes. So it used to be just like you were in the shape of like a racer, I guess. And now they're gonna be like weird shapes. You might be a triangle. You might be shaped like in a ball. And then you gotta solve those. You gotta finish those stages in different shapes. So that's kind of cool. That's coming out November 10th. I think that's gonna be standalone, so you can buy it separately, or you can purchase it as an add-on for Silverclip. I didn't see a price, like I said, but yeah. Yeah, you can check it out now. Or you can check it out. You can probably find it out there what the price is. But anyways, next up, they did a small trailer announcing some. Not really announcing. This was announced a while ago, but they kind of reminded everybody that Rocket League is coming to Switch. No release date yet. Still said this holiday, but they're having special cars, exclusive cars just for the Switch, where you get one team's going to have a Mario rocket car, and the other team's going to have a Luigi rocket car, and also there's going to be a Samus rocket car in the game. So cool that they're getting their own exclusive stuff. And like I said, no release date yet for that. Next up, Skyrim is for the Switch. Finally got a release date November 17th.
Nice.
So yeah, if people are excited for Skyrim on the Switch and you haven't bought it on the other 12 consoles it's been out for, you can buy it on the Switch. So
basically, if you want to buy 17th. Skyrim on the go, then yeah, of course.
Yeah. So that's cool. Next up, I missed some shit here on this one, so I really don't know what happened. But they're doing like this Nintendo Versus thing, where like a bunch of like old Nintendo arcade games, like Mario, like the original Mario Brothers. It's gonna be out September 29th, and I think there's gonna be like a balloon fight versus. I dropped the ball on this one.
Well, what these games are particularly, these were games that were originally released in the arcade by Nintendo. So it's like some of these are like old releases, like the original Mario Brothers that was an arcade cabinet, and the whole Versus series of games like Balloon Fight and Super Mario Brothers, those were like limited arcade cabinets that released back in around the 90s, the 80s, the 90s and stuff. So these games actually have never been emulated or even remotely put on video game consoles before. So that's the whole appeal to it. So they're like long lost versions of particular games.
Well, that's cool then. Like I said, I had some weird internet problems at the point, so I dropped out for like a minute, and I missed a couple things, but I went back and I checked some stuff out. I just forgot to write a couple things down. But next up, the Mario Brothers Versus comes out September 29th. I forgot to mention that part. The Square Enix RPG that was revealed at the Nintendo Switch reveal. Project Octopath Traveler. It's gonna be a Switch exclusive. It's from the devs that made Bravely Default, so that's good. There's a demo out now for the game, and they also got a trailer for it. And that's got a 2018 release where you're actually going to be playing as 8 different characters. You can go through you pick one character at a time, hence the Octopath part of the name. You pick that character and they each all have their own special story. You can go through and you can fight the people. That game looks really cool. Not my kind of game anymore, unfortunately. But I think that game should just be called Final Fantasy to me. 'Cause that's what it looks like. But like I said, Bravely Default, so good background. Those guys made a really cool game in Bravely Default, and then the sequel to Bravely Default I heard was excellent as well. Next up, maybe the biggest surprise. Actually, no, not maybe. Was the biggest surprise I think from this Direct, sorry, is that Doom is coming this holiday to the Switch, and Wolfenstein 2 is coming to the Switch in 2018 sometime. No other details or releases are about Wolfenstein 2 other than that. It did come out later after the Direct. That Doom, they're not going to have the snap map where you can create your own maps and share them for people, or own levels and share them with people, and that the multiplayer is going to be a separate download. You have to do an actual install on your console for. It's not going to be on the cartridge. So yeah, I think it's cool. I think like Doom is one of the best looking games from this generation. For a game that ran at 60 frames per second, came out before the Pro and all that. Yeah, so I'm curious how it's going to run on the Switch. Next up, Lola Pops is a new character for ARMS, and she's out now. And they also announced that there's going to be a new update for ARMS where you can actually customize controls. So one of the biggest complaints from a lot of people about the game is if you're playing with the controllers is where where the buttons are at, layout was, and now you can change that. So that's a thing. And then Dragon Quest Builders, a game that sold extremely well in Japan, especially I think last year. It's coming out for the Switch sometime in spring 2018. It's like a Dragon Quest game with some Minecraft elements into it. Next up, this is the game we got confused about earlier, Kirby Star Allies. That game, they revealed it back at E3. It's coming out in spring 2018. It's a 4-player co-op game. No mention of online. I imagine it's going to have to with the Nintendo Online you have to pay for here in a little, sometime about that time next year. Has King DTD with an 8-pack looking like a Monchamp evolution form. So yeah, that's a thing. No, it's like a short little 45-second trailer for that. No other details for that. Next up, the Guardian amiibos that they announced for that come with Zelda Breath of the Wild. That had the 4 different Guardians from the story. They got a release date finally for those on November 10th. And they unlock weapons and each have their own personalized helmet you can unlock for Link in the game.
Nice.
And then next up, the last 2 things is all about Super Mario Odyssey. Got a lot of details about that. They showed off some new areas in the game, and they showed a little more, not really more powers, but other things, other new characters or new enemies, types, and things going on in the world. And finally, they announced a Super Mario Odyssey Switch bundle that'll come out with the game on October 27th. And it's $380. So it's not really a deal, but it's a bundle, which is cool. Comes with a digital version of Super Mario Odyssey, which is kind of a bummer actually. Comes with Mario Red Joy-Cons, so they're slightly more red. They're not neon red like the ones that are out now for the Switch. These ones are like red. Yeah, they're like red, like Mario's uniform. And then it comes with a case. It actually looks like a Cappy, which is kind of cool. And then, like I said, it has the console and it has the digital version of the game. That is all the news from the Nintendo Direct. Gables, what are some of the key things, big things that you liked about it, maybe didn't like about it?
I love the fact that Doom is coming to Switch. As a matter of fact, when that news popped on my screen, I'm like, I'm fucking buying this for Switch. I don't give a shit. I'm buying this for Switch. Oh my god, I get to play Doom on the go. I'm fucking buying this on Switch. So, pretty much taken out from this whole press conference, this whole Direct in general. I love the idea that they're coming out with a Mario bundle. Makes sense. Mm-hmm. Package the game along with like red Joy-Cons and all this other stuff. I really wish that this could have been something that would have led the launch of the Switch, because that would have been even more crazy. But, well, despite all that, it's like I loved a lot of little things about this Direct. Going through the whole thing with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I like that this game is pretty much, in and of itself, looking like it's kind of better in terms of gameplay quality than, say, the original Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick it up day one. I like that it's releasing around December, so it's by the end of the year.
Yep.
I also like the fact that it's just Nintendo has not even remotely taken a rest with the Switch at all. They're going with hit after hit after hit. It's amazing just to see how they've progressed in sort of game releases on the Switch and how they've managed to not only incorporate their own first-party stuff, but there are some key third-party games on this system by the end of the year. Multiple of which I feel like I want to buy on the Switch. That I did own on the PS4 or at one time. It's like, you got games like Rocket League coming out, Doom coming out. There's WWE 2K18, which, you know what, it may or may not do well, but at the same time, it's like, I feel currently this is one of the first times in a long time where I'm playing a Nintendo console during its launch year, and I have so many options in order to play games on that it just blows my mind in a way where it's like, I grew up playing a lot of the older systems, like, say, for the Super Nintendo, N64, GameCube, so on and so forth, where it just feels really amazing that there's so much choice now just to play on this system. Now, granted and stuff like that, for the 3DS side of things, I think that was alright, you know? I like Mario and Luigi, Superstar Saga is coming out pretty soon, the remake of that. Apollo Justice, you know, that was kind of a surprising thing, you know? It's like, normally those games don't sell too well in terms of their physical releases, so I'm probably thinking this probably will be like a digital-only type of affair. I'm not too sure whether the game's a remake or not, but as what it looked like, it kind of looks like it's more akin to the original DS release of it. Now, when it comes to, say, some of the other games like Mario Party, I thought initially when they announced it, it would look like, say, another like generic like Mario Party game where all this and all that you can do, but it literally sounds like the best mini games from. It literally states the best mini games from all of the Mario Party games. It was funny because I showed the trailer to some of the ladies that I work with at my workplace and stuff, and these two girls and stuff like that are watching these videos like, I hope there's such and such mini game inside this, and all of a sudden she sees it in the trailer. It's like, yes, I want to fucking buy this. Oh boy, but now when it comes to the Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon footage that was shown, give or take, we hardly know anything else about it since its initial announcement, other than the fact that, hey, Solgaleo and Lunala look different because of this influence by Necrozma. We got actual names of the forms, like Necrozma, like Dawn, or Necrozma Dusk, or whatever the heck. But at the same point, it shows little bits of details of how the Alola journey starting out is sort of a bit different. It shows this little like Yongoose or something like that, just try to attack the party members or whatsoever, that when you go to pick your Pokemon originally. So, obviously there's going to be new stuff revealed probably during the next couple of weeks. Well, I hope so, because it just mostly looks the same other than like a couple of different types of character changes, the avatar, a couple of like different Pokemon stuff in regards to the influences. It definitely seems like it's going to be a little bit more to it by like some things that I've seen, but otherwise, overall, I felt the Nintendo Direct that happened was overly positive, and I felt more confident in the next couple months. Hell, even going into the first half of the first couple months of 2018, where it's like, I'm going to be consistently buying games for my Switch and then playing a lot of that content, more so than I am like some other systems at the moment. So, if I had to give it a grade, I pretty much think this was a good solid 8 out of 10.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, maybe a little lower, but yeah, I think overall it was a extremely good Direct as far as positive goes and news-wise. Obviously Xenoblade Chronicles, I'm gonna talk most about positives and Switch stuff mainly at the beginning here for me, but Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I'm glad that's was a really well-reviewed game, and there's a big fan base behind it. So I imagine it's gonna be even bigger being on a Switch, especially in Japan where they love handhelds and they love RPGs.
Oh yeah,
that thing's gonna sell. Maybe not super well here, but in Japan, it's gonna sell crazy good.
Oh yeah.
Still getting stuff out for the Splatoon 2. I mean, that's something they talked about they're gonna do. I'm glad it's a couple months out. Still throwing it out there. Hey, that thing still exists. Rocket League, I kind of wish there was a release date there for that. I kind of want to check it out and see how it works out, see if there's an online for it. And honestly, the Rocket exclusive cars look pretty sweet, and I kind of want to check it out. That's actually one of the big reasons I want to play it.
I know, right?
Skyrim.
And I really shouldn't be talking either, because I've pretty much bought Rocket League on on like the Xbox One, and like I got the free download on PS4. So it's like
Yeah.
I played enough Rocket League, but I really want to play it on Switch.
That's one. Yeah, that's one of those games where I should just buy it on everything it's out for because I feel like I owe them money. Cause
Yep.
I got a free version of the game and bought all the DLC out for it on the PS4, but I feel like I still haven't given them enough money. Skyrim, I'm happy if people are interested in that. I'm happy for you. It just doesn't seem like it's a game that's 6 years old, and this isn't even the version that came out that was released in PS4 and Xbox One. It's basically just an up-res version of the 361, so it doesn't even come with all the DLC content that came with the PS4 and Xbox One version. So it's just kind of a up-res version of the original game. So, but if you're a person that missed out on it or whatever, it's gonna be there for you. Doom and Wolfenstein 2. I think that's awesome. It comes back. The only thing that sucks though is these obviously Doom couldn't because it came out before the Switch came out. But I'm happy that's coming out. The only thing that sucks about Wolfenstein 2 is it couldn't come out with the other consoles, the other versions. Feels like maybe this was maybe a late decision or maybe just it wasn't gonna be done in time, kind of thing. But that's the only thing I'm bummed out about that part. Is just it couldn't be. Not that I was gonna buy it for the Switch, but I feel like it's not gonna do it nearly as well coming out 6 months to a year later.
Oh,
than if it would've
definitely
came out
in
day to
terms
day.
of sorry Tyler, but it also will probably influence say the pricing of it too, because I kind of wonder, it's like when Doom is eventually released later on this year, how much is this thing going to cost? Because it's like you see for the PS4 and the Xbox One, you can either buy the full retail release of it for like maybe $20 or $30 max. So
Yeah.
So we're talking about a game that's missing like snap maps and stuff like that, and downloadable things for online with a Switch. But essentially, you're just getting the base game for Doom.
It should be like $40, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's $60. Mainly because people are wanting things to buy on the Switch, and this game is probably going to sell super well on the Switch, even for people that maybe already played it before on the PS4, Xbox One, PC. And like I said, it's been on sale several times for $20. You can probably find it for under $30 easily right now. Like I said, that thing, everything on, I think Wonder Boy and what's the other game called? Oceanhorn, I think is what it's called. Okay. Those two games are both slightly older games. Wonder Boy's not, but Oceanhorn is it's been on for I think a couple years now. And I think Oceanhorn has been on everything from tablets to iPhones to Androids, Steam, Xbox One, PS4, and Steam. And they came out and said that game has sold more on the Switch than everything else combined.
Wow.
So, and same with Wonder Boy. That game I think came out. If I'm thinking of the right game, came out probably 4 months ago or so on Steam, PS4, and Xbox One. Pretty much everything as well. And same thing with that, where it sold more on the Switch than everything else combined. So either of these games didn't do shit on the other things, which I don't think is true, especially Oceanhorn getting re-released for the Switch. That means people are buying these things like crazy. Like even that Street Fighter, the shitty Street Fighter port that came out has sold nearly 1 million copies on the Switch.
Yeah, it's been really successful too, which surprises me.
Yeah, that game did not come out to rave reviews for Street Fighter fans. So people want to buy stuff for the Switch, even older games. So a game like Doom, that's one of the best games of last year, maybe one of the best games in years. I wouldn't be surprised if it's $60. Shouldn't be, but I wouldn't be surprised. ARMS, I'm happy they're still supporting that. It's a game I really need to get back into. I just have not. I want to, but there's so much other shit coming out that I want to play. Kirby Star Allies. I've never been a Kirby guy. I can't say I dislike their games. I know they're well-made games, but I've just never really played one outside of maybe a couple games of Super Nintendo. So I feel like I've missed pretty much that entire franchise, and I think next year is the 25th anniversary of it. I've never really given it a fair shake. So I'm actually excited for this game. It looked really fun, Kirby Star Allies, especially being a 4-player co-op. Like I said, I hope it's online. It should be, because I'd love it if, I know this is a game that you and Justin are probably going to pick up.
Probably.
It'd be fun if we can hop on a line and fucking play through this game together.
That would be fun as shit, dude.
Yeah, this game being built for co-op, I feel like a game that should be played that way. the one thing that came out of it that I did not like Switch wise is that the biggest thing I didn't like is and I really don't dislike a lot, and they're small nitpicky things. But the one thing I really dislike is they didn't have a release date for the Zelda Breath of the Wild Champions Ballad or Ballad of Champions. I can't remember what it's called. The second DLC for Zelda Breath of the Wild.
You know, I completely forgot about that too.
Yeah, I thought when they showed off, they started talking about the Guardian Amiibo. I thought, oh shit, they're gonna talk about the DLC, and they didn't talk about it at all. So it makes me wonder if that actually gonna come out this year. Maybe they're gonna do something special for it, or this can come out in the press note later on. I was a little bummed, but it also makes me wonder that maybe November 10th might be the release date for it.
Possibly.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. With if the Amiibo are coming out for that day, and then Nintendo loves to release games with the Amiibo, or release Amiibo around the time of big games coming out. And there's nothing coming out November 10th that I know of, small or big, so that makes sense for that. And Super Mario Odyssey for the Switch stuff. That's a game that I'm sold on. I think everybody that saw that has a Switch or that wants a Switch was sold on when they showed it off at E3. Took E3 by storm. So you can just stop showing shit for that game for me personally, because you've already got my money. But going into like the 3DS stuff, the things I wasn't really interested in, Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon, I think is gonna sell like crazy. It should be a 3DS game, but everything else, especially like that Mario Party Top 100, I'm not arguing that shouldn't be on 3DS, but everything they talked about 3DS wise should be on the Switch as well.
I kind of agree with you during that point. No, the only thing I would argue against though is because for the game like Mario Party and stuff, it's not like a full-fledged actual like Mario Party game per se. It doesn't sound like there's like game boards or this or that or something like that. It's just compilation of mini games that should like that should just be like more or less like sort of a portable experience, like say for 3DS. But I would love to see something of the sort come on Switch. I mean, hell, at this point and stuff, we've had the 3DS for so long that we should be having more of this stuff on the Switch because it's a portable too.
Yeah, and that's what I'm coming to on this. Whereas like, this is like going from Mario Party 1 through 10, so it's not like this stuff can't be made on the Switch. And I imagine some of maybe a couple of the Mario Parties are on the Wii. Might not be able. A lot of those games probably won't be able to be on the 3DS because they use the Wiimote functions. Well, those games could probably be on the Switch because they have the Joy-Cons. So unless they're going to do their own separate version, it doesn't really make sense not to have it. Especially a game like Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. That's a re-release of a Game Boy Advance game. There's no touch stuff to it that I know of. Or even if there was, you could play on the Switch still. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me that some of this, that most of the stuff isn't. I understand you don't want to do Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon because you want people to be foaming at the mouth still, like they have been for 20 years, for finally getting a console one when the console one finally does come in a couple of years. But yeah, that's kind of my biggest complaint is just that they're leaving a lot of money on the table, and that's kind of Nintendo's MO sometimes. Really, actually, is leaving money on the table. But yeah, overall, if I was gonna give it like a rating like you, maybe like a 7.5. Just going back to like mainly because of the 3DS stuff, you could have done a better job with that as far as putting it on Switch, and that's my biggest come out outside of it. But overall, extremely positive. Liked everything I talked about. I think all those things are going to do really well. Some of those 3DS games actually make me want to turn my 3DS on again. So yeah.
That's
overall,
just really surprising. I think one of the other tidbits about the Nintendo Direct and stuff that kind of, now that I think about it, sort of like kind of shocked me in a sort of a way. It's like the 3DS is going to be supported well into 2018. Which, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it makes sense, I guess. I mean, I thought this would be the kind of the swan song for it, but when they released the 2DS XL this past summer, they kind of have to, in a way.
They're still releasing bundles for the 3DS by the end of this year, too.
Yeah, they're still releasing models. They have like an orange one. They have a Pokeball one. Japan's getting their own colors.
And they're not 3DSs. They're actual, like, 2DS XLs.
Oh, yeah. So, there you go. So, I mean, they're obviously... I mean, it makes sense because those things... There's like 60 or 70 million of those out in the wild. So, I understand 100% why they're still releasing games for it. I guess a lot of those games should be... Especially a game like Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, really... A lot of these other games coming out that don't even have 3D on them anymore. It doesn't make sense not to put those on the Switch. But yeah, really good week for news wise. A lot of good stuff coming out in the horizon. This can be even crazier last stretch of the year than we already thought, with Nintendo releasing a bunch of stuff, and already got some stuff coming out early next year. So it's gonna be probably be a crazy year next year as well. Let's go and jump into what we've been playing.
All right.
A lot of new games still coming out. We're in that time of the year where stuff's coming out all the time. So, Gables, you picked up a couple games last week, and you're playing a couple other games. So, why don't you talk about them?
I picked up a couple games last week. I actually bought and downloaded both Undertale and Windjammers.
Ooh.
So, let's cut the meat and the potatoes right here. I got a chance to play through Windjammers. And my god, this game is pretty fun. Not only is it really easy to pick up and play, but it's absolutely addicting. You want to pick up this, and you definitely just want to go and just play a few rounds like, man, just one more game, that type of mentality. At the current level right now, I have played through the entirety of the arcade with easy mode. I've been trying my best to try to play through it on the regular difficulty settings, and oh my god, the fucking thing is difficult just to play through on the medium settings, because the thing about Windjammers in and of itself, it starts out as sort of like an easy sort of pick up the play sort of game. You may score a couple goals and stuff, but how you structure and how you use some of the movements and some of the skills and stuff, you could totally literally get your ass kicked, because you have to really double down on what type of strategy you want to do. Do you want to just go through and randomly bounce like the ball against the walls and stuff like that, do little bits of like ricocheting here and there? So before I go into anything really deep about the game, let me just say this. Windjammers is a game, a really highly competitive game, where it's structured where you basically have yourself and your opponent facing each other in this flying disc game. So basically how you score goals or points in this game is you have to somehow either do these various little techniques, either bouncing the disc off of like these walls and stuff that'll ricochet to and from. You could either like press particular marks where you can actually fling the disc and stuff to where the opponent has to try to either catch it or somehow like maneuver himself so they can capture this disc, because if they drop the disc, it's automatically like 2 points for the other person. So those little intricacies like compiled on how fun the gameplay is in of itself, it just makes it a little bit more like engaging to go through. At one point, I was going through and I was down literally to my last couple points, because how the game keeps track of points is once you can actually score different points depending upon what sides of the goal you get the disc in. Like, for example, there may be a map or some where the opponent's goal is separated into 3 little quadrants where the edges are like 5 points and the middle one's like 3 points. And so basically it's sort of a battle to 12 points. So the first person to get 12 wins the set, but it's the best out of 3, so you have to win 2 sets in a row in order to move on to the next game. So, like I said before, I keep going through Windjammers, and I get to a specific point where I feel like I'm having like a great game and all this and that and stuff, and somehow my opponent does some kind of a bullshit sort of move where it's like they go and you think they're going to be scoring like a goal like through the regular means, but somehow it just manages to slip right past you at the last moment. So another thing these characters can do, they can perform these random specials. So they can build up a little bit of their meter and stuff, and they can release these crazy-ass little, like, finishing moves or something like that. I've managed to win a game doing something like that, but, yeah, it's been really fun and stuff in terms of enjoyment. I can play it either on the PS4 or the Vita. I've played a little bit on both, and I gotta admit, though, just playing this game on the go, it can be really, like, interesting because of how small, like, especially like how the Vita screen is and stuff, it's kind of harder for me to keep track of the flying discs and stuff like that as opposed to playing on my TV. But it's not a bad port. I mean, no, the Vita port actually is pretty competent. It has a lot of it has some pros to it, other than like the vivid colors on the screen and the easier to control button layout and stuff. But yeah, that's one game. The other game I had a chance to play, which I played a lot of during last night, and I kind of feel I don't know what to make of the game. And that game is called Hatoful Boyfriend.
Oh, yes!
It was one of the PlayStation free-to-play games that released earlier on this month. Early on for this month. So, basically what the game is a visual novel type of game.
Fuck
where
yeah.
you choose your own paths. You choose your own separate types of paths, like in terms of pretty much selecting who you want to go out with or something like that. So, the protagonist, you play as the role of like a female student, having to convince these male birds and stuff. You're a human female who attends this academy full of these birds, these different types of birds and stuff like that are modeled after these little like anime sort of like guys and stuff like that. It actually gives you the option of whether or not you want to see their human counterpart models or
Fuck yeah,
or
dude.
their bird models.
Yeah.
And what's shockingly hilarious about the game too, it's like they'll show you the fucking bird models anyway, and it's just so fucking random to where there's that one point where you're towards the beginning of the game and stuff. It just shows random clips of these pigeons and stuff like feasting inside breadcrumbs on the fucking like in the middle of a park, or like there is this one character who acts as a track teacher pretty much, right? And basically, he absolutely does not like chocolate. And oh my god, there's this one like cutscene that I remember vividly where he is basically inside of his office and stuff like that. You enter into his office, right? And there's this cut little scene. It's like, what are all these? It's basically he has all these supplements and beans on the ground, and you have an option to join him in eating all these fucking beans off the ground instead of his thing. It's like, what the fuck am I doing? And of course I'm going to go ahead and join him while eating these fucking beans. So it's like,
Of course.
well, of course. And I don't know how I did this, but out of the 14 so endings that you can get, and yeah, this is one of those games where you can actually go and replay back if you choose to. There are 14 different endings to this game, depending on your choices.
Game of the year.
But what's most hilarious, out of the whole endings that I end up getting, I end up choosing the one that leads to a female pigeon.
Nice.
Out of all the endings. So basically, I pretty much chose the option or something like that to befriend this girl, like, who's basically a finch. Right, this female finch bird or something like that. It has her own biker gang or something like that. Or
Ooh, bad girl.
oh my god! And the ending is like you two create like this all like girl gang or something like that shit. And all of a sudden the credits start to roll. It's like, was that it?
How long is this game?
I kid you not. It took me about an hour to play through.
Oh god. Okay, I'm going to play this game now. I'm going to take time out of my schedule and play this game.
I implore you, Tyler, if you like jazz punk and how crazy and random that is, try playing this game. I literally felt like I was going insane playing this fucking game for the first time. It's like, it made me laugh out loud a few times because of how ridiculously stupid it was. It really reminded me the first time that I played Goat Simulator and how much I was in love of playing that game because it was so stupid and there was so many crazy shit you could do just to basically mess shit up and stuff. Oh my god. It, in and of itself, man, I could play it. I haven't tried it on the Vita. I may want to try it on the Vita. But this is definitely a game you have to try out for yourself. This is words don't do it justice, dude. You'll definitely get a different ending to me. I guarantee you probably will get a different ending to me.
you had my attention. But now when you mentioned pigeons and boyfriends and all that shit, but then you mentioned jazz punk. Now I'm intrigued. So
Well, that's the thing. It's sort of it's sort of similar to jazz punk. It's like anything can fucking happen inside this game in terms of like what type of cutscenes. Like 1 minute you could like be going to get a part-time job or something where you're talking to this fucking pigeon or something like that, like. And then another time it's like you're at school or something like that, and you're trying to do these fucking like seminar tests and stuff, and all these the teachers and the students are sleeping right in the middle of the class. It's like, what the fuck? All these random bird students are just like they're trying to do math or something, and all of a sudden they start falling asleep.
I just, man, I kind of just want to play jazz punk again.
I know. I will say that this is probably one of the most bizarre games I have played in recent years. And for that reason alone, I would honestly suggest whoever has PlayStation Plus just to give it a try. If not, just play through it once, get the ending or some that you get. Because even if you spend an hour on this game, I think it's well worth just the experience of just try it once.
I'm willing to try anything once. No matter how painful or shaming it could be.
Oh my god. So the last game that I've played, and if you haven't figured it out right now, yes, I'm still playing Pokemon Platinum.
Yeah.
I am nearly 21 hours into the game, and let's see, I've gotten, I believe, 6 badges now. I am at this Iron Hill, this Iron Cave or something like that, Iron Hill Cave. That's off of like past the 6th gym leader and stuff. I'm basically past the point where I've defeated Team Galactic members inside the 2 of the 3 various lakes and stuff, and now I have to navigate this cave off of Kanalive City, I think it's called. I'm not really for sure because I kind of mix the pronunciation with the town a little bit. But anyway, my team members, I've finally evolved my starter into its final evolution, so I got myself an Infernape, and I love the fact that I have a Fire Monkey. It's just like a flaming chimpanzee, and I just love it. Then I, of course, have my Psychic Steel type Bell creature I call Brawn. Kind of like off of Braun Strowman or something like that, because the dude is fucking hulky and stuff, but he can tear up shit like no one's business.
Monster among men.
Oh, of course. And of course, I decided to add 2 other Pokemon to my party. I decided to capture a Starly, right? And I evolved it fully into like Staravia, and now I have a Staraptor, which this Staraptor, it's still considered normal flying, but it learns a fighting type move called Close Combat, which is quintessentially like a 120 power move that lowers both your defense and special defense. So it's like, you know what? Why not? I had him on my first playthrough of Pokemon Diamond. I might as well do it right now. The other Pokemon I got is a Roselia. Now, Roselia is sort of like a grass poison type from the Generation 3 Pokemon games. But I've always wanted to try to evolve it into a Roserade, because that thing looks so fucking badass. Because it's like attacking with fucking flower petals and all this other shit. And let's see, obviously the last team member that I have is my Gastrodon, which you know what? I've taught it Surf. I've done this. I'm currently playing this specific type of mini game. This like a casino mini game inside of like one of the cities, to where I'm trying to earn enough coins in order to buy the TM for Ice Beam. Because I want to give it to my Gastrodon so it can at least have an ice attack. So when I do finally go through the Elite Four and Champion, I can at least take out some dragons. Oh my gosh. But other than that, the main thing I'm getting out of my playthrough currently with Pokemon Diamond is I cannot believe how long it's taken me just to get through parts of the main game. I play games like, say, Red and Blue, or like even most recently with Sun and Moon. It didn't take me nearly as long to go through to get to, like, say, 6 gym leaders through, or like, not just gym leaders, but like just get through more than like half the game at that point, But, yeah, it is what it is. I feel like I'm on track where I'm going to be able to beat it before next week. So, at least that's to keep in mind.
Oh, yeah. You're getting your body ready for Pokemon Gold and Silver coming out.
Oh,
I'm actually,
God.
part of me is kind of getting a little hyped for those games.
Dude,
might go
if
back
you
and play.
do, seriously,
Go on.
Tyler, if you do decide to get Gold and Silver, seriously, ask me for advice.
Oh, I will. And, yeah, I wish it came out with the Diamond one because that's the one I would get. Like I got Yellow last year.
Yes.
But I'm so if I get one, I gotta pick. I mainly played Gold last time, the first time. But
Oh, you know what? That's just something that's really surprising too. I mean, why hasn't Pokemon Crystal come out? You know,
Crystal, not Diamond. I'm sorry.
Dude, Pokemon Crystal would have made a lot of sense. It'd be like the yellow version. You know, it's like
Yeah.
red, blue, and yellow all released simultaneously. Gold and Silver releases, but no Crystal. Hey, come on.
Leaving money on the table. Come on, Nintendo. People would buy all three. Yeah, I know. I would get the Crystal version if they did. But yeah, no, I'm glad you're getting ready for that.
Yeah.
And Hatoful Boyfriend or Hateful, whatever it's called. My Sunday morning is set before football starts. Yeah. So, anyways, I'm gonna jump in while we're playing now. You're done, right? I'm sorry.
Yes.
All right, cool. I forgot to ask. I felt rude, but anyways, I've been playing one game this week, but there's one game that's been on my things I've been playing this week on the show notes for a couple weeks now, and other things have gotten in the way, and I just haven't got to it, and I want to get to it. I'm gonna get to it now before I forget about it completely. I played a game. I talked about it a couple weeks ago. I played it when almost the entirety of this game in one sitting when the power went out at my house. It's called Phantom Trigger. It's a game that's on the Switch now. It's $15, I want to say. I don't think it's on anything else. I haven't seen anything else. Maybe probably Steam, but it's not on PS4 or Xbox One. It is a top-down hack and slash S type of game with some Dark Souls elements to it, with some 16-bitish style, with some pretty jamming music. Stop me if you heard this one before. It's basically Hyper Light Drifter.
Right.
Almost exactly, almost to a T. Basically, the main character it's slightly different. So, and the Hyper Light Drifter, people don't remember. You play as character, hack and slash, Dark Souls-esque, top down, kind of 16-bitish graphics with some jamming fucking tunes. And your character is dying. I don't want to tell you in the story, but he's dying. He has disease. He's trying to stop. Basically, do something good before he dies. And Phantom Trigger, it's basically almost literally the exact same thing. Where this one, the only difference is that this character you play as, he has in like the real world, I'm assuming he has cancer, but in his head and all his medications he's on, he's built like this world in his head.
Yeah.
And he's going into this world, and there's all these weird characters in there, and like his wife is in there as a different character. And I think there's 5 levels in this game, 4 or 5. And going through it, like I said, it's hack and slash, fairly difficult. Like the actual normal difficulty level they set you on is hard. I bumped it down to normal because I was getting my ass whooped. But you have 3 weapons. You have a sword. You have like this weird fist thing that kind of comes out. It's kind of like your long distance one, but it's not really long distance. Right. And then you have I believe it's a whip, and you can like level up each one. The more you level them up as you use them. So, and I actually maxed out all 3 of them, and I don't really know if I like what it did because I don't feel like they were more powerful. Like I didn't see you see like the damage they do as they hit them.
Right.
And I never saw that go up, so I don't really know what it did when you level them up. But there's like side stuff you can find. But not really too much to say about it other than I think it's actually a really good game. It's really fun, especially if you're looking for something to play on your Switch. This is a game I think you should probably pick up, and especially if you love Hyper Light Drifter. Don't expect Hyper Light Drifter. This is not that. As far as quality goes, Hyper Light Drifter, it's tough for me to say because that's legit one of my favorite games of all time.
Oh yeah. So
One
what's
of
the
my-
game called one more time?
It's called Phantom Trigger.
Oh, Phantom Trigger. Okay.
Yes, like I said, on the Switch and PC. I don't know if it's coming to anything else later, or maybe it's out now and it just got buried. But yeah, $15. Really fun game. Really kind of interesting story. Jumping back and forth, and the world, the way it looks, all that. It's the way it's built. Like I'm knocking it because it's basically copying Hyper Light Drifter, but it's a really good clone of Hyper Light Drifter. So I'm not gonna complain too much about it because I fucking love Hyper Light Drifter, so I'm happy that we're getting something. If we're never gonna get a sequel to that game, I'm okay with getting close to versions of that game. So knocking a little bit, but still a really good game overall. I think people should pick up and play, or at least look some shit up on it. Look at the there's a trailer on the Switch for it. There's trailers on the YouTube for it. You can watch some gameplay stuff of it. Fun game. But the other game I'm playing, I talked about last week. I was only an hour or so in at that point. I have put since then probably 15 hours or so into Destiny 2.
Yes.
So we have, over the course of this show, probably talked about Destiny more than anything else. Maybe Pokemon. Other than that, Pokemon. Maybe. Top 2 or 3 games talked about Destiny 2. Destiny 1. Sorry. And it's been... we've had people defend it. Jake. People bash it. Me. And other things as well. But... overall, we talked about Destiny 1 was a fine game, blah, blah, blah. I've heard it all before. A lot of problems with content, and the world just wasn't interesting and all that shit. And the story wasn't either. This game, not going to say the story is going to blow anybody away, but there's a story, there's a reason to hate these people. You kind of have a reason to do the things you're doing. But the gameplay, still great, fun. But the biggest improvements of this game, and the reason I can't quit playing this game is just how well everything is streamlined. Like the biggest issues with the last game, and I talked about a little bit last week, was that like you wanted to go anywhere, like you wanted to do something. You like, even say you're on Earth, you're in the first planet, and I wanted to do this story mission. I'd have to go back to like space and go to a loading screen, go back to space, I want to do that mission, go then wait through a loading screen and like a whole setup for the story to do that, replay that story mode. Even though I was already on Earth, I gotta go back to space to pick that and go back to Earth to do that story mission. In this game, you don't do any of that. You can you just pull up the map like you can do in any other game. I don't want to give it too much credit, because this is something that every other game's ever done that comes out open world wise does already. But it's nice that you can go in now and you're on IO, you're on Nessus or Titan, or
right.
European Dead Zone, any of those 4 new areas, and you can just I'm in the world. It's there's the main story, and then there's some side stuff you can do. There's public events going on. You just click on it, and you can track it. You can walk to it, and you can prompt it to open up, which is really cool. And now there's no more patrol missions. Like the patrol missions are gone. Now they're just side missions, and the side missions actually are not 10-second bullshit missions like the patrol was. Well, this is kind of replaced patrol missions, but those were go here, kill 20 enemies, and you're done. And this one, actually, a lot of the side missions I've done so far are actually there's some story behind it. There's a reason why you're doing it. There is actually some depth to it a little bit. That's actually really cool. As far as there's layers to the side missions. So they're not nearly as big as the story missions are. Time wise and just overall scope, but they're all unique in their own way, which I like quite a bit. This game is it does have that kind of that one more mission mentality to me for it, where it's all right, that was fun. It's in each side missions usually 20 minutes or so, maybe 30, and the story missions are usually a little longer, but it's okay, I'll do one more. That was fun. I can do one more. And that's how it's getting me. I'm already I haven't even got to the 4th area yet, and I'm already level 17. The cap is 20, and I feel like I'm not hitting that wall like it was in the first game, where it's all right, I'm almost at level 20, and then you get to level 20, and it's well, they got that bullshit level up system with the light to get to level 21 to get 21 to 30. Now you're leveling up at a decent pace, but also once you get to level 20, I'm talking to people and just listening to people and reading online about it, is now you have so they had the light in the first game, which is would take your would kind of even out your score based off the armor you're wearing, the weapons you have, and all that, the power you have of it. Now this game, they turn the light and it's just called power now, which makes sense because that's basically what it was, and it's called power now, and I'm constantly leveling that up. So it's like a next level to leveling up, and there's not so much grindy bullshit to get that stuff. Like I'm constantly, every time I do something, going through like a wave of enemies, not even doing a mission, just going through a wave of enemies, I'm finding armor or weapons, and I'm finding good stuff. On top of that, that's useful. I'm not just selling right away for cash. So it's just that there's constant progression that the first game didn't have, and the characters in the game aren't going to set the world on fire, but they're fun. Nathan Fillion is amazing as always. I love Nathan Fillion. I'd flate that man for free right now if he was in front of me. Long live Firefly. But he's great in that game. It's fun. He's funny. Like some of the characters are whatever, but they're entertaining to a point at least. Where the other game, everybody felt like they were like, it was almost like the first read of the game, of the script, where it's like, all right, so now I'm doing this and I'm doing that. Like now it feels like they almost like rehearsed their lines, and they gave a little attention to it, and they gave him more lines. There's actually several cutscenes in this game so far, and I'm probably fairly close to finishing the game, probably maybe 3/4, just based off feel of how the game's going. But I'm doing all the side quests before I leave an area, and I'm there's like story missions. I'll do the side missions before I go to the next story mission. Like this game is just fun to play, like, and that like the first game, like the gameplay mechanics were fine, but they weren't fun. Like there was no issue. I couldn't find any issues with the gameplay portion of it. Like all of it was well made. It just wasn't fun. And this game is fun. And they I don't know, like there's so many like little things that was wrong with Destiny 1 that just made the game not fun. They fixed them and they added on to it and they built upon it. And it's just, man, it's so good. Like this is what Destiny 1 should have been. And it sucks that, I mean, sometimes you have the games, there's like, it's like Assassin's Creed 1 and 2, and it feels like this is the thing, but just on a much bigger scale. But yeah, Destiny 2 it's awesome. It's great. And I hope people that might have gave up on the game after the first one, or played vanilla Destiny, didn't like it, or maybe you played Taken King and you really like that. Like there's just more Taken King. Like they built upon that really more than anything. And they just like, here you go. Here's more Taken King. Just on a bigger scale. And that's what this is. And it's fucking just a home run to me so far. I'm with, like I said, I'm going to level 20, but the overall progression of everything feels so much better than the first game. And I know what I'm doing now. And I know why I'm doing the things I'm doing. And it's just overall, and like I'm raving about this game, and I'm repeating myself, I know. But man, this game is just so good, and I'm really liking this, and I'm happy that Destiny 2 it's a fun game. Destiny is fun, guys, and it's awesome. So yeah, I really don't have much more to say about it other than rambling and raving more than I already have been. But yeah, it's fucking awesome, guys. I fucking love it. I just can't quit playing it. Like I'm actually, there's very few games that made me upset to be recording or podcasting, and this is one of those games. Like there's only been maybe a half dozen in the 4+ years of doing the show where it's like, fuck, I'd rather be playing this than recording, and this is kind of happening right now. It's crazy to me. I don't know. It's fun. Like it's great. I'm loving that. I played for like an hour last night for the first time with somebody else, Kevin from Talking Ship. He jumped on my game and I played with him for like an hour. Other than that, I'm playing this game entirely solo, and I'm enjoying this game. So I can't even imagine how fun this game is if you're playing with friends. So yeah, awesome game. Check it out. You have to. It's one of those games you have to play, to me, in this generation. I mean, obviously, if you don't like first-person shooters or whatever, but it's just one of those big games. It's one of those big games. Like has that big game feel to it that I feel like it's been really lacking, and towards this, a couple years in of this generation, where it's like everybody should play this game. It's a really good game. Everybody should check it out. It's not like Call of Duty, one of those that commercially whatever kind of games. It just has that feel to it. I don't know how to describe it, but it has that feel to it that this feels like an event. That's something we've been missing this generation. Like almost like back in the day when the Halo or when the Call of Duty back in its heyday would come out. It's like it's taken the world by storm, gaming world by storm, and it's living up to the hype that the original Destiny had. So yeah, once again, sorry for the rambling, but this game is excellent and I feel like it deserved it. So yeah, check out Destiny 2 if you haven't already. 2 big thumbs up for me. But anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. I have to pee so fucking bad, it's not even funny. After the fans, I realized I didn't pee before we started recording. About 5 minutes in, I'm like, I made a huge mistake. Here we are, an hour and a half later. I still haven't peed, and it's been a terrible mistake. But thank you guys so much for listening. If you want to hear more from us, we have a Facebook page and group. It is Drunk Nerds Podcast. Like and join us on there. On Twitter, we're at Drunk Nerds Pod. Follow us on there. 2 places to go really well if you want to know when the show comes out, and go check out the places where the shows go up on. Speaking of, iTunes, we're on there. So subscribe to us on there. Leave us a 5-star review. Leave us a nice little comment. Let me know if you did. You can go to our Facebook page actually and send us a message and talk to us now. I set that up. I didn't know you had to set that up, but I set it up now. That's the thing. Sorry, I'm rambling. I'm talking really fast. Got the pee really fucking bad. But anyways, send us a message on there. If you send us a review, I'll find you if you're in a different country outside the United States. On YouTube, we're Drunk Nerds Podcast. Subscribe to us on there. Like our shows up there. Podcast goes up there as well. On top of anything we stream, goes up on there as well. And on Twitch, almost forgot about you, Twitch. Twitch.tv. Check us on there. Drunk Nerds Podcast as well. Follow us on there. Send us friend requests. We like friends. Your friends. You listen to us, your friend. I like you. Love you. Send us friend requests. Anyways, I've been your host. I'm Tyler.
And I have been Colonel Gables. So until next week, everyone, toodle bye.
My bladder just exploded. Love you guys. Bye. Oh, God. I'm going to go pee now. Excuse me. You too many beers there. Anyways, we're on iTunes now, so go on there, check us out, and if you like us, leave us a review, and we'll even shout you out. And Jack will send you his credit card number.